So today I'm going to show you to use components to calculate the vector product, also known as the cross product. So if we just take a random vector A, we can note that the unit vectors indicate the components. These unit vectors are what we're going to actually use to calculate the cross product. So below we can draw an image of the unit vectors. This will help us to calculate the cross product. So we can use this image here as well as the right-hand rule to derive the following. So if we multiply I times j or I cross j, we get k. And on the right-hand side here, I'll show you how that works. So you start with your fingers pointing in the I, and then you curl it to the j. Make sure you're using your right hand, and your thumb will point in the k direction. With this same logic, you can find that j cross k is equal to I, and then k cross I is equal to j, using the right-hand rule. We can also find some negative relationships using the cross product. So k cross j is equal to negative I, and I'll show you how that works on the right-hand side. So if we take our right hand and put our fingers from k and curl them to j, we'll see that our thumb points in the negative I direction. And you can see that on the right-hand side. So with this same logic, we could find that I cross k is equal to negative j, and then j cross I is equal to negative k. So one extra important relationship is crossing the same unit vector. So for example, like I cross I, that's equal to 0, and that's also equal to j cross j, and k cross k, they're all equal to 0. And basically it's 0 because if we look at the general cross product formula, it's a cross b is equal to ab sine phi. And if we take a unit vector I cross I, for example, the angle between them is going to be 0, and sine 0 is equal to 0, so we just get 0 for the answer. So now just a quick summary. So we derive the following properties for computing vector products. These are all the ones that we're going to need. So we have the positive ones here, and then we also have the negative ones, and then we also have the extra ones. These are all, we're not going to need anything else to calculate vector products. One last thing I want to add is just a useful tip for remembering these properties. If you remember the vector order ijk alphabetically, and you're crossing from left to right, so like I cross j, for example, it's going to be a positive k. And then if you're crossing the opposite way, so j cross I, it's going to be a negative k. So if you're not good with the right-hand rule and you remember that, you can use that to solve. And in the next video, we'll apply this to an example problem.